A lot of big names online say just sell to rich people because it is easier. And I have a business where we sell to very, very rich people. Our ticket is ten to $15,000 per month plus with 6 month plus commitments. And we're usually increasing the price over time because we're providing excess and excess value. And so, what are the pros and cons of selling to very, very rich people? First, the pros that people like Alex Hormozy always talk about, it's they are price inelastic. They are not thinking about the price, they are thinking about the value. So, that means that there's the pros and cons. The pro is if you can actually provide such immense amounts of value to businesses. And that what is value for these businesses? They only care about two things: increase their bottom line, so that means increase their profit by making them more money or saving them money and helping them attract more talent. So we are helping them build their brand, convert all the views that we're getting into customers, and then we're filling in sponsors on top of that to where we can have a multi 7-figure marketing channel just coming from their social media. And so we are providing immense amounts of value, and we want to get better and better at servicing these clients at a higher degree, which is why I make these videos, because I'm not looking for clients. We are looking for high caliber people and talent that we can hire and train and to where we grow a super large organization. But with a higher price and a higher level business that you are working with, the more demanding they are going to be. Sometimes the harder it is to move. Sometimes it's very challenging to move quickly when we're working with bigger businesses, because bigger businesses have so many other complexities. They have their mid-level management. They have their own internal marketing teams. Those marketing teams have their own objectives that they have. They have to, let's say, hit XYZ result over the year, over the quarter, over every single month. And sometimes that's disaligned with what we're doing. So our incentives are sometimes not aligned. And we want to move hyper quick. We want to move with speed and precision, trying to build them, these CEOs and these business owners, the biggest brand humanly possible, as quick as possible, as effective as possible. And sometimes that is not aligned with the teams that we're working with. But it also means we have to be much more nimble. We have to adjust. We have to be more of a chameleon, because we are the contractor. We're not the internal team. And so we have to adjust to a lot of the different styles. So even though we try and be very strict with the businesses have to be onboarded onto our systems, sometimes businesses do not want that, and they have resistance to that, and that leads to us not being able to do things and get things passed. And there's the pros of servicing higher caliber businesses are also the cons, right? They're more demanding. There's more things that need to get done. They have higher expectations. And of course they should, that you're paying them a lot more money. That also means the amount of people that we need working on each project becomes more and more and more. And the talent bar that you need if you are servicing very high caliber businesses is incredible. You are in the business of attracting and training talent. But you also, if you want to start with working with rich people from zero, you have to be exceptionally good at something. And if you have zero proof that what you are doing works, the chances that a super rich person takes you on to do that service is very low. Period. It sucks, but it is true. So how did I get into it? And how did I get my first client? Because I didn't obviously always have a business. I was 18 years old, and I knew that I wanted to apprentice myself under someone, and I wanted to learn the game of business from someone that already ran a business. So I was reaching out to dozens of people per week. Instead of going to high school, I was actively reaching out to people in the macroeconomic and the finance niche, trying to apprentice myself and work for them. I thought that I was going to be a hedge fund manager or some degree of finance, because that was kind of my passion. But I wasn't getting any luck. I got like 3 responses, and I was continuously actively reaching out. There was one person that I wanted to work for. His name was George Gammon. And I was like, what do I have to do? And I put myself in a business owner's perspective. I said, when I have a large business 10 years from now, what would blow me out of the water if I could hire anyone that I wanted with money and their time wasn't worth it for me? I needed someone that was hyper ambitious. So what would that actually look like? And so I said, I'm going to be crazy here. I'm going to be crazy. And I got his logo tattooed on my leg. And I flew across the country and I basically harassed him until I said, you have to hire me. You don't have to pay me. I just want to work for you and learn from you. He actually did pay me. I started working for him. And then once I started working for him, I found something that he needed help with, because it's never going to be the thing that you want to do, because what he was already good at, he didn't need help with. He needed help with other things. And so he had social media. And I was like, your information is so much better, but these people get more views. So let's figure out how we can get more views. So then it was reverse engineering what the top people were doing to where we could implement it for George. And now he has, I mean, 1 million+ subscribers across all of his channels and gets millions of views per month. But that was us coming up together, figuring out strategy and understanding the algorithms and understanding human psychology and providing value. I figured a pain point, so I solved it. That is the epicenter of business. It's find a hole in the marketplace and find a way to solve it. And guess what? His friends were very large businesses, and they all had the same problem. They were posting on social media, but they got no results. So I would see his friends, and I would say, this one guy who has a $1 billion company, Ken McElroy, I said, hey, dude, why does your social media suck so bad? I was like, here's the 10 things that you're doing wrong. Here's what I think you should do. I was like, why are you like what's going on here? Like, why don't you have the best people doing this? And I was kind of like picking at him because I knew he's a friendly guy. Like he jokes around. He'll see you and say, "What up, pussy?" Because like, at least for a friend, like that's kind of the relationship that we had. We were friendly, and so I was just picking fun at him, and it led to me saying, he said, okay, why don't you help? I said, if I help, my goal is to learn how to run a business from you. So I'm going to move out wherever you are, and I want to spend 6 months there to where I can learn business. And he loved that. So he gave me a 1957 Porsche Speedster when I moved out there, and he has 10,000 apartments, so he let me stay in one of those. And so that was a very cool upgrade of lifestyle. During that time, I picked up another client who is in the finance space, who was the #1 expert in the world. How did I get that client? He was friends with my original mentor, George. And what I did is I wanted to get this guy's attention. And sometimes I would go on George's channel. So what I did is I got this guy's face printed out and put on my wall. And I would sometimes go on George's channel, who was already getting thousands and thousands or hundreds of thousands of views every single day, millions of views per month. And I would go on there because I was his research analyst, but I was also helping out with the back end. And then I wanted to work with this one guy who was famous in the space, and I got the picture on the wall of, this is actually the house where I did it because I'm visiting family in Massachusetts right now. And people in the comments would say, "Why the hell do you have Jeff on your wall?" And so they would then message in Jeff comments, and they would say, "What the hell is going on? Why does this guy have a picture of you on his wall?" And it became this huge meme in a very niche market. And that led to getting Jeff's attention. And I said, "Jeff, I would love to take you out to dinner and talk." And all of that happened was from uniquely marketing myself in different ways. And so he said, "Okay, sure. I'm actually free next Tuesday." He lives in West Palm Beach. So I drove from Massachusetts to West Palm and with my buddy Justin, and we went and got dinner with this guy. And after that dinner, what I did, because I'm always thinking of more unique ways. We were with him and his family, his 3 daughters and his wife, and I snuck off. And at this time, I was making fuck all money. I was making nothing. I snuck off and I went and paid the bill when I pretended to go to the bathroom. And I came back and they were shook. Obviously, I was like 19 years old at the time. And no, that just doesn't happen. So then that night, I was telling him, "Hey, there's all these things that I think you should be doing with your channel. I would love to help. And I just want to help to see if I can provide the value. I don't know if it's going to work. I want to learn from you." And after that day, started working with him. About 3 months later, I made that my highest month because he said, "Okay." He said, "Okay," it worked really well. We actually like tripled his views in the first month. And then he said, "Okay, let's do this full time. What does it look like?" And I said, "I don't want you to pay me anything, only if we're making excess money." So we had a profit share model that started a few years ago. And then like 2 months after that, I had my first $20,000 month because we did a big webinar launch and I was on top of the world. It was like my 20th birthday or something like that. And I was like, whoa. So then I moved to Arizona to work with Ken McElroy. And always, if you're getting the themes of these stories, it is finding a way to position myself uniquely, solving a problem, and doing whatever it takes to get in the room with these people and just saying yes to everything. So those are kind of the common themes of how I got my first 3 clients. And then once I crushed it for Ken, that's when we turned it into a business. So I had my 3 clients where I was actually starting to make a good amount of money. And I would have been making a lot of money right now if I just had those 3 clients, which I still do all of have those 3 clients, if I just work with Ken, pure profit share, which I still do have, with Jeff, pure profit share, with George, just it was a very low salary starting off because I was 18 years old, and I am so forever in debt to George because he was my first mentor. He's literally changed my life, and one of my goals over the next 12 months is to give him a watch collection of every single dollar that he's paid me, plus massive interest, and give it to him because he would never accept money because of the type of guy that he is with the integrity. I would either want to buy him a jet, which I'm definitely cannot afford right now, maybe a few years down the line because he hates flying public, or he really only wants to fly private. And if I got him like a small um, Phenom or something like that, but that's millions of dollars. Not even thinking about that right now. But a watch collection of a few $100,000, absolutely, that would be like a dream situation. That would be after I have everything else enact. But I told this story because I think it's pretty important for people to know how to get your first high paying clients. You know what didn't happen? Not a single one of those clients started off high paying because I didn't have proof. I didn't have a reason why they should trust me. All I did was said, I will work 100% profit share, because if without proof, no one is going to take you seriously if you are trying to work with high-end clientele. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. So you don't have the option. You either have to go and get receipts by working with small people and making them big, or to work with big people, it has to be for free because they can literally hire anyone, and they are getting constant inbound messages, and rich people would rather spend the money to solve their problems. So you have to be more unique. You really do. Going full circle though, so the pros and cons of working with high-end clientele, because now we have the receipts, and then we started working with Robert Kiyosaki, we started working with some of Ken's friends, and now we are growing a much larger business where we are going to have a bigger business than all of our clients, and that is for sure, and that is exciting. But a lot of that is because of the firsthand experience I got to have being inside of these clients. Like I got to see the org chart, which is how Ken lays out how all 300 of his employees are laid out, what each of their KPIs are. KPIs are just key performance indicators where every single person agrees, okay, we are going to hit XYZ metric. Let's say it was vacancy. We're going to have a 2% vacancy rate across this $100 million property. Whatever it is a metric that you are tracking. And then when the data and the numbers are off, you know, okay, this property across my 10,000 has a bad vacancy problem. Let's go in and see what's happening so we can fix it as soon as possible. And the more data you have and the better metrics you're tracking, the easier it is to run at scale because it becomes more of a data problem. And then you have your mid-level managers, you have your higher-end managers, and you need that when you are running a large company and you have hundreds and hundreds of employees and you're dealing with like hundreds of millions of dollars being transacted within your company per year. But right, you do need that, but then at the same time, that has its cons where you can't move as quickly because everything needs to be like any idea that someone has to be approved by more and more people. And so when you're starting out and you want to work with high-end clientele because you realize that is the way. We did not start with charging people astronomical amounts of money. It started free. And the only way we can now charge astronomical amounts of money is because I took that route of starting free. And now I spend a lot of my time trying to find and attract high caliber talent because we need the best people in the world to grow a large business. If we want to have 10,000 clients, which is 5% of the total marketplace of our demographic or our ICPs, there's 200,000 mid-market businesses from 10 million per year to $1 billion per year. There's 200,000 of them in the US. If we have 5% of the entire marketplace, and we could actually have a little bit more than that because we'll work with businesses that are doing like $4 or $5 million per year plus. So we really have like 250,000, 300,000 plus businesses in the US that we could work with. And we want 5% within the next 4 years. That's 10,000 businesses paying us $15,000 plus per month. That's $150 million per month. So then it's backing into how we get there. It always comes down to people. We need people to do the servicing. We need the best quality people in the entire world that want to crush it. Because for a goal that big and backing into it, it's not possible without people doing the work. Because Our clients are very demanding, as they should be. We are constantly leveling up and trying to be the absolute best in the world at what we do. There's a reason why we don't have churn with our clients, because we just show better results. Like, our LTV isn't even comparable to any other marketing agency. It is so much further ahead. And that is because our clients don't cancel, because we are always leveling up and showing better results for them over time. And we are hypercritical of ourselves. And that's what it takes to work with higher and higher end clientele. Just fucking show results and they will pay you forever, period. I think if someone is just starting off, should they start high end? If they have a long time horizon and you want to gain experience, yes, because you are not going to start making a lot of money, but it is how you can make a lot of money in the future. Because without proof, these people are not just going to hire you. Now, starting low ticket and selling to the masses can be incredibly profitable. And we are a marketing company. I know how profitable it can be to be selling low ticket offers. And you can grow a astronomically large business. I mean, even what I'm drinking right now, this Kaizen coffee, that is a low ticket offer where they are making hundreds of millions of dollars per year. So it doesn't matter if you're selling to high end people, to poorer people. If you have a good business model, you can get rich anyway. So when someone says, like Alex Hormozi or Dan Martell, sell to richer people, it is because they are a lot of times easier to work with, and they are price inelastic. They are value dependent. But it doesn't matter. Just pick your lane and stick to it. The reason why every single one of our clients have large businesses is because they stuck to one thing for a prolonged period of time and continuously got better at it. And sometimes it's just putting one foot in front of the other for 30 years, and that compounds into making $1 billion per year. Like, that is quite literally what it takes a lot of the time. But most people give up after 6 months of not getting any result. And what I've noticed is everything compounds towards year 3. If you are willing to commit to 3 years of becoming the best in the world at something, year 1, I did not see any tangible results. I was making slow progress. My life had changed, but not from a monetary impact. I wasn't actually that good at what I thought that I was good at. Even when you're working all day, every day on something, you don't realize what you don't know. Year 2 is when I realized how much I didn't know, and I had to break down a lot of my beliefs because I thought that I was the shit. If you've been doing something for 1 year, you are not the shit at it. Period. You don't know what you don't know. Honestly. And that is something that I wish someone had told me. And I always went into the rooms always knowing that I was the stupidest person and I was the dumbest. And when you're young, you can play that card and everyone wants to hear themselves talk about how smart they are. But I know a lot of people that have been in business or have been doing a skill for under 2 years and they think they're the best in the world at it. Period. You are not that good. You don't understand what you don't know. Now, year 2, we built the foundation for the business and started to build out a lot of the infrastructure. Year 3 started to really compound and started to increase monetary impact a lot. And going into year 4, we are now in the process of this incredible exponential linearity where we can double the size of our business every single month. And that doubling is from a very large base, bigger than all the money I made combined year 1, 2, and 3. We are doubling that every single month. I mean, if we are taking on 10 clients per month, that is substantial revenue coming in every single month. And that we are going to be taking on 10 clients per month, starting hopefully in December. We'll take on 10 clients in December, 20 in January, 20 in February, and we will continuously ramp that up to always focus on hiring and training people. So I spend so much of my time thinking through how are we going to train as many people as humanly possible, and what does that training system look like to where we can have the number one marketing agency of all time. And that all comes down to providing the value. And think about it this. I've never once talked about making more money. I'm only focusing on providing more value, because if you understand money, you realize money is just a value exchange. And if you want to see me going more in depth on that, you can watch this next video I just made on this last night when I was driving home from the gym.